Sir, I'm going live with the webinar. Hello, sir.
Yes, for all the best.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I hope I'm audible. Please confirm with yes or no on the chat box. We will be starting the webinar in another 5 minutes. Mr. Chetan, if you have any question, you can put in the chat box. I think you have raised your hand. Good evening, everyone. If I'm audible, please confirm with yes or no in the chat box. And if you have any questions or if you are expecting any thing from the sir, you can put your questions in the chat box. While we are waiting here to kick off the webinar, I'd like to know if majority of the audience is from HR background. Please confirm in the chat box. Also, while we all know today's topic is about improving line manager effectiveness, I would like to know what is the audience that are expecting from today's webinar, and we would like to see some responses in the comments. Please type in the chat box. Based on your expectations, Mr. Avinash Tyagi, sir, can tailor his webinar concept accordingly. Mr. Kamal is saying not from HR, but this concept is applicable in whole organization. Kamal, you can listen to this. We'll be starting the webinar in another 3 minutes. Good evening, everyone. My name is Pawan Kumar Sahu. I handle product marketing at Websol. I'll be your moderator for the day. Before we head into the webinar, I would like to give you a small introduction of our company, which I represent from. I'll try to keep it very short. Back in the days, Websol was in fact a part of Wipro. We were in fact a printer manufacturing division of Wipro, and we are specialized in dot matrix printing category. Over the years, the company decided to step out of Wipro and form a separate entity itself in the name of Web Solutions. Our signature offering, called Managed Printing Services, was carried out over 2 decades, and with evolving needs and changing market trends, we decided to bring digital workplace solutions to our portfolio. With this addition, we expanded our product and service portfolio to cater to mass markets. Over the years, we also have collaborated with market giants like Ricoh, Fujifilm, etc. I'd like to highlight few of our milestones in our journey that we underwent: complete brand refresh or transformation, and now we are called as Websol. let me take through the other side that we are explaining about our highlights of our company. We are coming up with 20 years of industry experience with over 500 plus enterprise customers and 2000 plus service locations. In fact, we also awarded as Best DMS Solution Company of the Year in 2022 by CIO of Outlook. You can see some of our trusted clients, which includes Tata Capital, Wipro, Metro, HDFC, etc. I will quickly run through some of our services portfolio, which we call as FluidWorks. FluidWorks is our intelligent workplace suiting category to a wide range of interdepartmental functions. We have a gamut of offerings under FluidWorks, which I explain in the upcoming slide. Fluid Pro is our managed IT services portfolio, wherein we offer infrastructure, consulting services, cybersecurity solutions, etc. Moving on to Fluid Print, our signature offering. Here we offer print infrastructure solutions based on customer requirements. We offer both CapEx and OpEx models, and we change the customer according to paper print basis. Our another service, which is called Fluid Trail, is our process automation solution, which also offers a document management hosted by Azure Cloud. We also offer on-premise setup in Fluid Trail. Fluid Trail offers HR, procurement, legal, etc. And we have an automation solution for every case study, which includes employee records management, candidate onboarding, attendance management, etc. Another solution that we are offering here was Flowtax. Flowtax is a managed GST solution, which is one-stop solution for filing, reconciliation, invoice, e-way bill, automation support, etc. We also have presence in retail end, and also we offer POS solutions catering to mass markets. With this, I would like to introduce our speaker of the day, Mr. Avid. Before introducing Avinash Tyagi sir, I would like to know if anyone from the HR background or procurement background would like to see our demo of Fluid Trail. I'll quickly launch a poll. Fluid Trail is our offering for workflow automation solution, which can automate your HR process, usually operates under manually. Usually in HR department, the client onboarding, document management, employees record management, everything will be managed manually. So the offering that we are providing from Fluid Trail will offers you to automate all the process from your off. That note, I would like to introduce our speaker of the day, Mr. Avinash Tyagi sir. Avinash brings with 25 years of experience extending to strategic HR, business restructuring, performance management, global recruitment, and tech implementation as areas of expertise, and has held roles as country HR and manager roles in various industries and verticals. He is also a full-time professor at Doon Business School, Dehradun. I take great pride in introducing him on another webinar with us today. I'm sure the audience is looking forward to directly hear from you, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Siddharth, Mr. Pawan, for introducing me. Right. So I'm very excited for this webinar, which will be with very learned HR professionals from India and abroad. Right. So this topic is very interesting topic actually. So the challenge here is many times the HR and line function they are at the different side of the table, and usually HR doesn't align the line manager for various HR functions. So this is a challenge they face. So we have to try to understand and how we can utilize or how we can train the line managers so that it is good for the organization. Next slide, please. Next slide. Right. So line managers cannot always control all the issues of job satisfaction we know, but they are the people who trigger the feel good factor or the feel bad factor uh, about the organization to the employees. They are the face of the company. So many times the organizations or the workers they see the line manager as the company itself. So if the line managers are not dealing with the workers properly, so it is impacting the image and it will impact the productivity and it creates a lot of good and bad consequences depending on how trained the line managers are. Let's try to understand what as HR professional we can do so that the efficacy, efficiency, and effectiveness of our line managers is improved. And line managers also help us, help the all of us in creating a very effective organizations. Next slide, please. Right. So there is a very interesting report from the Gallup. So it says that the effectiveness of manager, the managers account for 70% of variance in employee engagement. So they are able to impact the engagement to a great basis up to 21%. Team when the team they have engaged when managers, they will be 21% more productive and will have 65% lower attrition. So we understand that okay, it's very important that we have got good managers, right? So they can influence almost 70%. They can bring in 70% of the various factors. The 70% of the chunk is taken by the line managers. So if the line manager, if they themselves are not very engaged, so forget about the engagement of the other workers, right? So attrition, as we have already heard also, it is a very commonly used adage that people don't leave organization, they leave their managers. So let's see another data point. So it is from the another study. Next slide, please. Right. So CEB research, it is very interesting research. It says that organizations with effective line management see 26% higher revenue per employee and 14% increase in the profitability. So if the effectiveness of line management is lost, so possibly we are losing a great amount of revenue per employee. So we are understanding from this that there is a impact on attrition, there is impact on productivity, and also the line manager impact the financial performance. Next slide, please. So let's try to understand what are the various challenges of line managers in India. So before that, we will have a poll. Can we have a poll, please?
Yes, sir. Audience, you can see one poll has been launched on the screen. What is the common challenge faced by line managers in India, particularly in IT and BPO sectors? Your answers: high profitability, low attrition rates, skill gaps, minimal workload. Please type the correct answer in the poll box.
Right. I request the participant to just participate in this poll so that we understand each other better, and then possibly I can uh, tailor make and I can make some changes in the presentation.
Okay, participant, I'll be closing the poll in another 3 seconds. So most of the participants answered as skill gaps.
Right. Very good. So the participants are 100% correct. So the poll was very simple one, right? So let's try to understand in a way what are the various challenges line managers are facing in Indian context. The one challenge which we often see in the organizations uh, is that okay, the promotion goes to the senior most person, and usually the promotion is tenure based promotion. So I am promoting a person who may not be a good manager, but a person who is very good in his doing the task individually. He may be a very an excellent individual contributor, and based on that, the person is promoted. Because of that, lot of issues come up. So that is very common and particular to India. Second, there we have got various cultural nuances which we understand. Different people will have come from will have different understanding. It also depend on the what is the your organization culture. If from the senior most management, the line manager is not good and not getting good support, so usually what happen is then they tend to copy whatever they are learning from the seniors. If they're getting a lot of pressure only from the senior manager, they pass on the same thing to the junior employees, which is not correct. If the culture could be a very high drive culture, so in that case, what happens? It becomes very difficult for the line manager because they have to pass on that pressure to their employees as well. So this culture nuances is very prominent. Other thing which comes across in India also is managing diverse team. So in any organization, we have got people from different background, different diversity, different culture, different regions. So it becomes very complex for many times for line manager to manage all these things. Apart from this common obstacle which we see, there are various industry-specific challenges we see. For example, high attrition, the skill gaps, the whatever is required for people to perform. Many times we get a team members who are not having the necessary skill gap. So if the organization are not doing this anything which is leading to filling of the skill gap, it creates a lot of other issues also. Many times there is a dilemma between the business objective versus employee well-being. On the one hand, line managers need to take care of the business objectives, so they have to drive the people to for result. On the other hand, they have to also take care that of the employee well-being, and they have to make sure that the employees are also happy, the team members are also happy and satisfied. Next slide, please. Can you hear next slide? Yes. The previous one, sorry.
This is the answer.
Yes. So we are understanding that line managers are no longer just supervising the employee. Many times we expect line managers also to carry out range of HR activities, which we'll see in the next slide. Next slide, please. Right. So this one. So here we are seeing that okay, we are living in a VUCA world. So a lot of things are changing, and that is creating a huge work pressure on the performance and on the business itself. So technological development, rising customer expectation, ever-changing regulatory requirement, and the changing market scenario. Also, because of high competition, there's a huge pressure on the cost rationalization. So this requires that people they need to perform better, more productive. And what's happening there is now this all pressure is coming on the line manager because they are the face of the organization, and they need to get the work done. They need to get work done irrespective of the cost rationalization, irrespective of the rising customer expectations. So they ultimately need to deliver, right? Now let's try to understand on what basis the involvement of line manager in HR functions are there. So number one, the line manager are expected to uh, bring to the ground or bring to life the HR policy and implement it at the workplace. So they are the implementers of any HR policy which is created by the HR department. So they are responsible for maybe getting the bouquet or the brickbat, facing the brickbat from the workers. The line managers, they act as a communication link between the employee and the management. So they convey what has been conveyed to them by the line manager. Many times the senior management, they wish to pass on not not a pleasant message. So many times it is passed on through the line managers. The line managers also they also have to fulfill a lot of people management requirements. Although HR is already there, but many times what happens, the HR could be sitting centrally in a head office or maybe a regional office, and wherein the line managers they are at different locations, so they have to fulfill a lot of management requirements. They line managers are responsible, or they many times they face the challenges of employee indiscipline. So they are also responsible for the maintaining the discipline of the employees. So many times if the certain workers they are indisciplined, so the senior management they catch hold of line manager and they try to uh, pass on the blame to them, saying that okay, your team members are not disciplined, or even if the team members are not motivated enough, so the blame goes to the line manager. So here we are trying to understand that line manager is trying to is getting involved on day-to-day basis in a lot of HR functions. So let's try to understand what are the challenges, how HR can address it. Next slide, please. Uh, so I'm also requesting in case of any of the participants, they wish to ask any question or they want to pose a query, they can type their query on Q&A or chat box. We will take it and then we'll address it. So now coming to challenges in training the line manager for HR tasks. First thing is the line manager, their prime responsibility is not the HR responsibility. Their prime responsibility could be delivering the business. It could be the sales, it could be production, or it could be whatever department they are working for. So they need to balance the HR responsibility as well along with their main responsibility. So we are asking them to do this thing additionally. So it is not their main responsibility. So they always feel that okay, oh, oh God, this is not, I have to do this additional work as well. So it is not the main work. So they take it as an additional work. Second is obviously line managers, they are not expert. They don't have HR expertise. So because of this, over a period of time, if they don't get a good response from the workers, they try to consider this as a dirty job or bad job or the job of not liking, right? So because of HR expertise, if they are not able to deliver the things properly, so they will start disliking it. Again, coming to third point, because of time constraint, many times it happens that the line managers they are busy with some other tasks. So line manager, or maybe a department head assigned some task, and also the HR as a HR, you have assigned them also some tasks. So there would be a conflict of time. There is a time constraint. So definitely the first priority for them would be the line manager will say that okay, I need to first follow the instruction or follow the task given to me by my immediate supervisor rather than no following or complying with the task given to me by the HR department. So because of all these reasons, the engagement and motivation of line managers is also vary. You will see that, okay, I'm sure from the personal experience you might have noted that certain line managers, they are very proactive on the issues regarding their team members. So they take pain and they go out of the way to help the team members and solve these HR issues. Whereas some people, they have laissez-faire attitude. They hardly care, or they do it whatever is the just politically correct from for them to do it. So the engagement and motivation for doing HR tasks is also varying for different managers, and this create a constraint in doing them the HR tasks properly. Consistent training. So this is also which I have observed very frequently. So many times, many HR departments or HR team members, they start training the line managers. They start with a lot of fanfare and they create a lot of Allah like that. No, we are training with we want to empower line manager. But what is observed? It is observed that this training they die within maybe a few months. So there is no consistency. So possibly you might have not trained all the line managers on a particular aspect of HR issues. You might have trained maybe a few selected people, right? Or you have trained only given them a very basic training. You are not giving them advanced level of training. Uh, so that's the reason they are not able to perform this HR task. So other point is we know that HR trends are very dynamic. They keep on changing. So it becomes very difficult for the line managers to keep track with a lot of HR trends, which are there. Line managers also have got huge resistance to change many times. So they still have this, which I observed, is that they tend to copy their managers, right? For example, they always believe that, okay, if I was not treated like this, why should I treat my juniors like that? So if they had been under hand of a very strict or bad boss, so the chances are there that they will also try to become the strict and bad boss, and that no, they will resist this change. So these are the issues which the many times which make the training the line managers difficult for HR tasks. Next slide, please.
So can I quickly launch a poll?
Yes, please.
Audience, I'm launching a poll related to the topic that we are discussing. You can see the poll on your screen. In the transition from employee to line manager, which of the following is a sign of effective management? Delegating tasks effectively, coaching team members regularly, overpowering subordinates, promoting collaboration within the team. Please type your answers in the chat poll box. Also, audience, if you have any questions or queries that you directly want to ask with Avinash sir, you can type in the chat box so that we'll have a dedicated Q&A session in the end of the webinar. Looks like audience are having different choices over this question.
Good.
Sir, any comments on this, sir?
Right. Unfortunately, Pawan, I'm not able to see the poll for maybe some technical glitch here. Right.
Okay, I'll end the poll and share the screen, sir.
Yes.
Share the poll screen.
Yeah.
Can you be able to see, sir? Now?
Yes. So I'm happy that, okay, we are getting the diverse view from the participant. Right. So in the transition from employee to line manager, the ineffective management, right? So the sign of ineffective management actually is you tend to overpower the subordinates, right? It is not effective management. It is the sign of ineffective management. Delegating tasks effectively, right? If you are delegating tasks effectively, so it is a good sign. So you are the line manager is able to know is effective, is using the effective management style. If the line manager is coaching the team members regularly, so it is also a sign of effective management, not ineffective management. If the line manager is overpowering subordinates, so then definitely it is a sign of ineffective management. So this situation you will, I'm sure you must have observed it in your routine. So this is very, very common when you promote a person and he becomes a new manager. So because of sense of insecurity or no sense of superiority, whatever reasons could underlying reasons could be. So this line manager, they tend to overpower the subordinate. So they are always they will try to tend to do the nitpicking. They will try to find out the small faults, right? And they will try to throw around their weights. So this is how no overpowering subordinate create a issue. So as a HR, we have to be aware of it. The other extreme end of it is doing things over less yourself, right? Not delegating. So it is like that. Okay, people. There on the one hand, we have got managers who are just overpowering subordinate. On the other hand, some of the managers, they are so scared, so they tend to do things themselves. So because they don't want to rub the team members in a wrong way, so they get overburdened. They try to finish everything on themselves, and they don't delegate tasks. No, so that's create a problem. Similarly, the many times the line manager, they don't coach people. For example, you see, please try to understand one thing: the manager is a person who had been promoted from the ranks, right? So he had been doing the particular task, and he or she had been doing the particular task for long years and sufficiently. I believe that the performance was at good level. That's why he was chosen to be promoted. So once they get promoted, they forget that okay, the people they are dealing with, or the team members, they may not be carrying the same level of experience, or they may not be having the same long exposure, long tenure of exposure as they have. And so though they think that okay, if I can do it, other people also can do it. But they forget that maybe there are some people who will require uh, hand holding and proper coaching. So it is very, very important that the line managers, they keep on coaching their people, and the coaching will happen at different level for different individuals, right? Other issues, other problem which creates a hurdle in case of many of the organization is hiring below par people. So that could be for two reasons. Many times the line manager, they themselves are insecure. Because of insecurity, they don't want to hire a person who is better than themselves. So they feel that okay, if I hire a person who is good enough or maybe better than myself, so what happened to my position? My position would be at risk. So they tend to hire substandard or below par people, so that they can push them around, and so that these below par people, they are always dependent on the line manager. So what's happening here because of this? So we are creating what is it, the army of pygmies. So all the people are short, are smaller or of less caliber. So over a period of time, what happens is you see that the performance of the organization is start deteriorating because the hiring was of not of good people, right? The hiring is not based on the merit. The hiring is based on the convenience of the lineman. So this is also a important issue, which possibly uh, the HR or the senior management should always be thoughtful of. Other important thing is not being available. So the line managers, many times they are so busy, or they try to show that they are very busy. So they don't lend sympathetic ear to to their employees. So they always show that they are very busy. Uh, it could be, I'm not saying that they do it deliberately. It could be because they are genuinely overburdened, or it could be because they want to show that they are really overburdened. So whatever was the reason, the ultimate because of that, the ultimate loser is the employee and the organization. So it is very, very important. I believe that okay, if any line manager feels that okay, certain things are important, he will definitely take out the time for that thing. So it's very important that as HR we understand that these are the challenges you will face, you'll see coming from the line manager. So we have to address this very very importantly. Next slide, please. Right. So how HR can support? So the HR need to support possibly by defining, by creating a proper and approved RASI metric. So this I will cover in a little bit detail in the next slide. So RASI metrics, I'm sure all of you know. So we define, and it is a delegation of authority document. So we clearly define that which person is responsible, which person is accountable, which person has to be consulted, and which person to be informed. So we create a RASI matrix for every important task in the organization, and you get it approved by the senior most management. Once it is approved, so this will be definitely a very very important tool, and this will empower your line manager to a great extent. Second thing is we need to listen to line managers, and we have to ask for feedback from the line managers. So this is also, in my experience, I have seen that many a times, many HR managers, they just possibly implement, or they just launch some of the HR program with lot of fanfare, and then they forget or they ignore the line manager. They don't take any feedback from the line manager. So many times, the one reason could be there that HR people feel that a line manager are not expert in this domain. So why we should ask them? Or certain time they are scared that okay, line manager may give the negative feedback about the program which is running. So because of this reason, what happen is we are not able to plug in the holes in our boat, right? So line manager, when we take their feedback, so it will give us an opportunity and plug in the gaps if we have in any of the programs or any of the issues we have in HR. Line manager are the people, as we know, they will always be facing the conflict. So they are the people who face the fire from the workers, right? So it is very, very important that as HR, we provide them a very, very good conflict resolution support. Uh, we empower them with the various tools, so the technology or the mechanism, or it could be a structured way so that the conflict uh, they they are no they are able to be released. So there has to be some safety valve mechanism in place so that the conflict doesn't become big and causes detrimental damage to the organization. So also we need to equip the line managers. So you equip the line managers by the help of technology or developing them or providing them the required support, whatever is the ask from them. And also the last point, which is very important, that the organization should develop to invest a huge amount of time, money, and effort in developing the line manager. So these are the basic things. So after the next slide, we will see a lot of case studies. So what's really happening in India specifically, how various organizations are doing a lot of activities which are revolving around all these points which I have discussed here. Next slide, please. So I will request you to spend maybe a minute or two to just go through the slide. So on the extreme left side, we have got HR processes, different HR processes, and what is usually suggested for the RASI matrix. Who should be responsible? Who has to be accountable for this process, these processes, and who has to be consulted and who need to be informed. Right. So let me try to dwell more in detail. So if you see this, lot of processes like recruitment and selection, onboarding, performance management, employee relation, and policy implementation, employee engagement. So here, what is suggested is that the responsibility is shifting from HR, it is going to the line manager. So we are making the line manager responsible for all this process. Let's try to understand recruitment and selection, right? Why the HR manager, why the HR department is not responsible? Why I am saying that, okay, instead of HR being responsible, let's make line manager responsible. For example, we do centrally recruitment and selection. For example, HR does on their own. They are not involving the line manager in any recruitment or selection process. So we will understand that, okay, ultimately the person would be selected and sent to the line manager, and the line manager will try to start finding faults in it, and they will start doing nitpicking, and possibly for various reasons best known to all of us, they will start doing nitpicking and they will not be very comfortable with this candidate. And so whatever is the expected support we expect from the line manager, that would be missing because there is no ownership here. So the ownership, according to line manager of recruitment selection, lies with the HR. So they are just keeping their hand in their pockets and just watching people come and go, extending hardly any support. But instead of that, suppose I start involving the line managers in recruitment selection, then what happened? The scenario is changed, right? So I am empowering them. Number one, I'm involving them, and when they ultimately are there, when they are selecting and helping in recruitment selection, so because of that, they will ensure that the person who selected, recruited, selected, they stay there for a longer period of time. Same thing is applicable in case of onboarding. Onboarding is definitely very, very important. If onboarding is not positive, so if we are not able to create the right impression for the employees who are joining, so ultimately then the chances of their early attrition or the infant attrition is very high. So I need to create a good onboarding experience. So centrally sitting as an HR, I cannot monitor that, okay, whether the necessary support of onboarding has been provided by the line manager or not. So ultimately what we do is we make the line managers responsible for it, right? So I'm not saying in any case accountability still lies with HR, but responsibility, the day-to-day basis task, everything has to be done by the line manager. Same is the case with the performance management. If I promote a person which is not of the liking of the line manager, so ultimately it creates a lot of friction and so I will definitely take the input from the line manager. So this we'll also see in the coming slides, right? Same is with this. So except for compensation benefit, so where we are just reversing it, the senior most management are responsible and line managers informed. And most of the cases we are giving the policy implementation, employee engagement and exit management responsibility to the line manager. So I request you possibly, so it is easy to say than getting it done. It may take some time, so I will request you to create this RASI matrix for your own organizations. Get it before you prepare it. So you need to have some focus group discussion among the line managers or their manager's manager, right? Ultimately, after that, you get it vetted by the senior most management, and once the document is signed and you roll out. So believe me that, okay, the functionality of HR will improve tenfold. So you are not the only person who is doing recruitment, onboarding, employee relation, and other important tasks of HR. So you are having other soldiers available for you who are doing the task, and they are aligned with you. So they are with you in the same boat. So instead of having a confrontational approach, what we see here is the line manager works side by side with the HR, right? I hope I am able to clarify this slide. This slide was very important, so I thought we'll spend more time here. Next slide, please. Right, so we will see some of the cases. So there was a survey done very recently, a case study was done on Infosys. So they found out that the investment in leadership development for line managers led to 15% increase in employee engagement, and it also led to 12% increase in the customer satisfaction. Infosys is in a big way working on leadership development. So they train people and they ensure they have got a special center for leadership development. So it's very important. They have realized that, okay, if we are creating good leaders, so number one, we are creating a better talent pipeline, and also they are able to create a good experience for their employees. Next slide. Now, other cases from Tata Group. So, on building trust and credibility. So there are two examples I have picked up from, one is from Tata Power and other is from Tata Motors. So let's come to the first point, TOPS. So it is team-oriented problem-solving convention. So Tata Power and Delhi Distribution, they host a team-oriented problem-solving convention. So they have formalized it. So they invite all the members of the team, including line managers and workers, etc. So they all come together, and as a team, they try to solve the various problems they're facing at workplace. Right? It is a very structured way. It is very well defined, and so by this, imagine that okay, you are having this convention or possibly maybe conference or maybe a meeting, especially for problem solving in your organization. So if you do it, what will happen? It will create a very good vibes among the employees and the managers, and everybody will feel important, and they will start working together in the solving. So it doesn't become the problem of the management. Everybody's when you start involving everyone, so the problem becomes common for, it becomes everybody's problem and everybody will start contributing. Tata Motors, they implemented a joint task force. So the joint task force has got people from HR and line managers. So the task force, they will develop it, and they will over a period of time they will do they will try to find the problems and write what are the issues of the employee and how we can improve the workplace practices. Next slide, please. Right. So this is the case from the Wipro we have taken. So Wipro's approach improving the manager and employee communication. So it is very easy to say that okay, I will improve the communication between manager and employee, but it is not a simple task. Lot of activities has to be done, and has to be done on regular basis, so that ultimate the employee and manager communication or with the management it improves. So the Wipro has implemented a open door policy, right? So the managers, they cannot hide behind or they cannot lock their doors and behind that. So all the managers, they need to be very approachable. Anybody can come in the cabin and then they can share their grievance or some issues they have, or they can take suggestion. They also formalized discussion where they call it one-on-one meeting, right? A regular one-on-one meeting is happening across the Wipro, across all the departments. That is a regular fare there. So once the regular one-on-one meeting is happening across the organization, so what's happening here is the communication between the employee and manager will improve. As they say that okay, if manager comes and asks employee once in a while or once in a once in a year, how are you or how are you doing? And so usually the tendency of the employee is that they will not share any issues with them. But when it happens on regular one-on-one meeting, so the there is openness, the melting happens, and you'll be surprised that a lot of insights these people will give it to you when you have one-on-one meetings. But it should not be a flash in the pan. It should be done regularly. The important thing we understand here is that many of the things which we do, it has to be done regular basis and it has to be done with a sincerity. Right? Definitely, we can leverage technology for better communication. So maybe if it is not one-on meeting is not possible face to face, then possibly you can do online. We have got plenty of the tools available nowadays. Wipro also ensures there is a virtual town halls. So it also creates a good communication between senior leadership and all the employees. They specifically have launched a program on communication skills for the managers. Right? That communication skills is often ignored, but it plays a very, very important role. If the manager is not able to listen properly or is not able to communicate properly in the right words, or is maybe using very aggressive tone or maybe very proper tone. So in this case, what will happen is that it will be very, very difficult for the workers to feel comfortable with the managers. So they are imparting the they are training the managers in communication skills. So they keep on doing the over a period of time that they also gather the information through employee survey. They carry on a lot of pulse survey. And of course, there is a mechanism of 360-degree feedback, which I need not explain to all the HR, learn HR participant. Wipro is promoting a culture of recognition. So they are recognizing, they have got instant recognition platforms. It's not like that, okay, somebody has done something good and you are rewarding that person on an annual basis. So now the things are very, very dynamic nowadays. I need not wait for 1 year to reward a person's achievement in particular thing. So there is a mechanism that instantly uh, recognize people and this message is flashed across the organization. So the person feel valued and recognized. So these are the five important things that Wipro has done. This is their approach to improving the manager-employee communication. Next slide, please. So here I will try to share the landmarks performance management technique. So how we are involving the line managers. Line managers are very involved in doing the performance management. So earlier we had an issue that okay, the promotion was going to wrong person many times, or promotion was going to the people which was liked by line managers manager or skip level managers or a very senior manager. So it was possibly based on it was more on impression basis, and many times the line managers were not involved, so they were also not putting proper effort in developing their own team members. So we decide that okay, why not? No, if this is the case, so we will possibly give the ownership of performance management to the line managers. So they will be responsible for doing the performance appraisal and doing the performance management for their own team members. So if the team member is not performing well, so instead of the line manager coming and complaining to HR that okay, this person not performing well, so the HR will ask the line manager to tell us what are you doing on what are the steps taken by you so that the performance of this individual is improved, right? So the performance, so we are turning the whole pyramid, if you can say. So we are asking the line manager that okay, that we are giving you authority and responsibility to manage the performance of your own people. So initially the performance appraisal was happening on annual basis. So slowly it was moved to the half yearly, and for junior position it was moved to quarterly basis. So when the performance conversation is happening, performance conversation maybe is not always possibly maybe a smooth or pleasant conversation. Sometimes it is a tough conversation. But we encourage the managers to have such difficult conversation with their employees on regular basis. Over a period of time, that the employees also very clear that what is exactly expected out of me, and the whole team they get aligned and they work toward the same direction, right? Uh, yes, Mr. Chetan, very good. Right. Next slide, please. So the other is like, as I was discussing, we need to provide the tools to the line manager to resolve the conflict, because the heat up in the engine is faced by the driver. So they are driving the organization initially. So they are nearest to the engine and or the machinery. So they are facing this heat actually. So we have to provide them the tools so that they are able to resolve the conflict before the conflict becomes huge and it creates damaging everyone. So the Infosys has got a resolution hubs. They have got a mechanism called very aptly named as HERE. So here is HERE employees and resolve. So they have got a HERE network. They have got 40 global hubs with 300 partners. So they also have got some external partners who, apart from the internal partners, so that there is a neutrality in resolution of the conflict. So the employees can use either HERE web app, or they have got Infimi mobile app. So by using this, possibly they can raise their conflict or their issues or grievances, and they have documented it, and they say that okay, the SLA, the service level agreement, is that within 24 hours, whenever they raise any issue on this app or these apps, so the acknowledgement has to be sent to them with the proper tracking number that we have heard your grievance, or he heard your issue, and the problem has to be solved within 21 days. So within 24 hours, I need to acknowledge that okay, yes, I got your problem, I understood it, and I'm working on it, and within 21 days I have to resolve it, right? So this is a very good mechanism by which what's happening is that the conflicts are getting resolved very fast. So the heat from the engine is taken away. So the employees, when if there are some issues are there, so they know that okay, it is being taken care of. Line manager can possibly focus on some other issues, right? So they can drive the performance better, because there is a proper mechanism of resolving the conflict. Next slide, please. Technology and tools for the line manager. So there are various apps. For example, there is a, for example, I'm sure that most of the organization, almost all the organization nowadays are using it. So let's try to say consider an app which is giving you a real-time attendance. So for example, I am managing a store. Let's say a retail store. I have got 100 employees, and by the click of the button, I can find out that okay, which who are the people who are coming late, who came late, or who are not there. So instead of somebody coming and telling me that this person is missing, so I can maybe adjust my workforce. I can maybe send the person to man that. If it is a very important area, I can send someone to man that. So what's happening is, by with the help of a technology, the manager is helped to take a decision very fast. So with this, for example, there are other technological tool available for communication, for performance management, right? So with the help of a lot of tools which are available nowadays, so it should help the line manager to possibly drive the better performance out of their people, right? So there are various tools available that can on live basis track the performance of the people on various projects. Next slide, please. Right. So while we are saying that okay, line managers are very, very critical and they are definitely the face of the organizations and they know they are the real people who are driving the performance. So what the question comes here is what the organizations are doing for their own growth. It's very, very important that okay, the line manager they understand that okay, the organization is also doing something for their growth. So if they when they believe that okay, organization is trying to develop them, they also try to encourage their own team members or their workers who are working with them or under them to develop, right? For imagine a situation wherein a line manager is working for maybe 10, 15 years and had not been promoted for whatever reasons, and there has been no effort by the organization to promote that particular line manager. So, do you think that line manager will create good vibes or he will encourage the workers to develop themselves? He will not do it because he himself is not motivated. He's not learning new skills and right, and he feel that okay, he has reached the dead end. So, this the chances that such people they create a very negative environment there, and they are not. This is not helpful for the organization. So Reliance has got two programs. So one is Career Accelerator program. They call it CAP. So this for line managers, and there's other program known as Flyer program. So they usually is for engineers. So here in what happened, the engineer they learn at on the job as well as there is a collaboration with academia. So they go to various other institutions and they complete the courses here. Next slide, please. Same on the same line, there is a case from the L&T. So here it is very interesting. This one. So they have got Institute of Project Management. They call it IPM. So this mentoring program is run by the employees themselves, the managers. So those senior managers who have done a particular program, they volunteer and they train the junior managers, right? So L&T IPM it will offer mentoring program where past participant who have become certified project manager mentor new participant. So what happens is because of this mentoring, there is a continuous development of manager skills. That is a very fantastic program, and I'm sure that okay, the other organization also implement it. It will go a long way. Next slide.
So can I quickly launch a poll, sir?
Yes, please.
Audience, I'm launching a poll related to this topic. You can see the poll question on your screen now. Emotional intelligence training for line managers is crucial because it improves which of the following: employee technical skills, managerial decision making, organizational profitability, communication channels. Please type the answers in the poll box. Also, audience, if you have any questions or queries that you directly want to ask with Avinash sir, you can directly type in the chat box so that we will have a dedicated Q&A section in the end of the webinar. Also, we'll be sending you one post-webinar mailer, including the recording of the webinar and the presentation deck, including all the resource materials of previous webinars as well. The poll will be ending in another 5 seconds. Please type your answers in the chat box. Sir, any comments on this, sir? Most of the people
Right,
answered.
right. Yes, yes, yes. So most of the people they have answered correctly. So definitely, when we are training our people on EI, emotional intelligence, so it helps in having a better managerial decision making, and obviously, definitely, it also improves the organization profitability and the other options given. So we'll go to next slide.
Yes, sir.
Right. So this is the example. So as we have understood the importance of emotional intelligence in leadership, it's very, very important that okay, my managers they understand first about themselves and they also are good in understanding other people. So they have to be, they should be able to understand their own emotions, their own personality, and they should be able to understand other people's emotions, right? So when we are able to understand ourselves and when we are able to understand other people, so then we are emotionally intelligent. If imagine a situation where a manager is not emotionally intelligent and is not able to pick up that some of the workers, they are no not they are demotivated or they are not contributing, or no uh, or if the manager is not able to understand that, okay, what the way he's speaking is liked or disliked by other people, and he has got basically no clue. So what will happen? He will not be able to adjust, or he will not be able to adapt his leadership style according to the requirement of situation, or according to the requirement, or the personality of the workers. So the Infosys, they have actually invested a lot on conducting emotional intelligence of the line management, and then they measured it. They measured it through the surveys from they asked the question to line manager themselves. They also asked uh, the from they did the survey among the workers also, whether the impact is there or not. So it is a very good initiative. So possibly, if you can also do a emotional intelligence training for your line managers, right? So believe me, if you do it, so it will be very, very fruitful and it will be very, very impactful. The impact to train the managers, you will definitely see a positive impact on their behavior with the team members. Ultimately, that leads to better motivation and ultimately better productivity. Next slide, please. So, slightly theoretic, but I thought that it is also very, very important because we are in HR, or we are in senior position. So we should also understand that when we are uh, counseling the employees or counseling the manager, we should not begin directly. So first, what will happen? The first important thing is first you need to develop the relationship, right? So if you are trying to counsel the manager, the line manager, so all of a sudden you cannot just go there and just try to uh, direct the person and tell him that, okay, do this and do that. So first thing is you have to develop the relationship, and with the relationship will come your credibility. So if you don't have the relationship or the credibility, whatever you are saying to the your line managers, it will be falling on it will fall flat. It will not have any impact. Then whenever we are counseling, so we have to first define the problem. We cannot just go and tell them about 20 things at one time, right? A manager may be having issues with 10 issues in your opinion, but you cannot all of a sudden go and give him a laundry list that, okay, you need to improve on this 10 issues. It's very, very important you define this, not 10 problems, maybe you define three critical problems which you can immediately, which are low hanging fruits, wherein which are critical as well as where you can get good results very fast. So define the problem, and then over a period of time, then you also determine the goals, what you are exactly expecting out of what are the changes you are exactly expecting out of the line manager. To determine the goal very, very clearly, and then you say that what is plan of action, what you are going to do exactly, what the person has to do. So you are first is developing relationship. You don't go immediately all of a sudden and tell this. You also bring in your credibility. You try to build the credibility by being genuine with the line manager. They should believe that, okay, you and the line manager, they are on the same side of the table. There has to be no confrontation between you and the line manager. So once we build that credibility, then we start developing relationship. Then we sit together and we define exact problems which we need to address, right? And then you determine, what will be short-term goals, what would be long-term goals, how we will do it. And then based on that, you decide the action plan. And once everything is done, so a constant follow-up has to be done. So if we follow the same thing actually for with the line managers, I'm sure it will bring the good result and bring a lot of changes in line management. Right, next slide, please. Right, so I think with this we conclude this session. Right, so again I am saying that okay, line managers has to be helped by having a clear-cut processes in the organization to define the delegation of authority has to be clear, the RACI has to be implemented and agreed on by the senior most management, and then it has to be rolled out with the line manager. Keep on developing the line manager. Try to use the technology so that the burden on line manager is reduced in a long period of time. Try to have a line manager with you. They should not feel that, okay, this is a HR baby, this is not my baby, so I need not worry about it. So the happy employee is actually everybody's responsibility. So when this point is drawn and the line managers are with us, so I'm sure that over a period of time, the line manager they get aligned with the HR and they start working together and it gets a fantastic result and it get a very happy and very the bubbly and very uh, good organization which is high performing and team is always motivated, right? So my request to all of you is to you need to sit together, discuss on maybe have a rough draft, what are the action plan you will do, and over a period of time how you are going to implement it, right? So if we are just attending a webinar, if you're not implementing it, so it is a waste of your good talent. Try to utilize your talent. Every situation, every organization will have a different situation, and the condition will be different in every organization. So same rule cannot apply for all the organizations. This we have to keep in mind, right? So in case you need anyone needs any help on this, so feel free to approach me. I'll be more than happy to volunteer this with you and to support you.
Also, audience, there is an ongoing poll running in the LinkedIn. I have pasted the link in the chat box. You can quickly go through the link and you can find the LinkedIn poll and you can answer and come back to the session before we heading into the Q&A session. I have pasted the link in the chat box. You can quickly go through that link and answer the question in the LinkedIn. The poll will be live for another 5 minutes. So you can quickly go to your LinkedIn and answer the question and come back for the Q&A session. Also, if anyone is having questions and queries related to the topic or any HR related topics, they can type their question in the chat box. We also have a few questions from Pamela Debnath. I have one thought on your second query. It depends on what stage the line managers is there. It differs from first line, second line, and third line, and so on. So can we start the Q&A session, sir?
Yes, please. So sorry, I'm not able to relate this. Actually, what exactly? Ms. Pamela will like to explain this further.
I'll check once, sir. I think she is not online, sir.
Okay. Right. So any other query?
Audience, if anyone directly want to talk with the sir, I can enable them to talk with the sir. Just raise your hands so that I can allow you to talk with the sir. Last time, Mr. Chetan Lad wanted to talk and raise the hand. Do you want to ask any question, Chetan? Okay.
Right. I think there are no queries now.
Yes, sir.
Right. So the participant, I'm again requesting, in case you have got any issues, feel free to raise it, and so that we can clarify it. We have to work toward making the HR as a very robust function, and making, if we are in the senior management or other position also, then we have to ensure that all our workers, they are motivated, productive, and very, very effective contributor.
Also, participants, after the webinar, you will be receiving one post-webinar mailer, including the webinar recording, the presentation deck, and other resources, and all the previous webinars given by the sir, Avinash sir, included in a single mail, so that you can always refer whenever you feel convenient. Also, the participants who are opted for free demo, they'll be getting a call from our team, from our tech team, so that you will receive a free demo of our Fluid Trail offering. So that with that note, we can conclude the webinar, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
I think some question, any certificate of participate. Currently, we are not providing any certificate, Avesha, but you will have, you can always have the access for all our webinars in the future, and you can access all our previous webinars from YouTube. If you want to, if you are looking for our offering Fluid Trail demo, we can always provide you a demo. Thank you, participants, for your time.
Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Pawan. Thank you so much. Thank you.